We are so happy to be welcoming on Alex Brown, former Chicago Bears defensive end, former two-time All-American at Florida. Now does great work with NBC Sports Chicago. Alex, thanks for coming on. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I do want to say, that's two-time, that's first team All-American. I did make All-American once, second team, and the three-time SEC. Not many people do that, so just want to throw that out there.
No, we got to make sure that's right.
Yeah, no, that's accurate, Alex. And I mean, you are a decorated college player, right? So around this time for you back in 2002 must have been a pretty special moment for you. Now, it's a different world from your life back then, brother. But why don't you kind of walk us through what your young draft experience was like and sitting there on draft day?
Well, man, I thought I was a first round pick. I really did. I thought I had the talent to be a first round pick. I thought my career in college spoke of a first round pick. I didn't run particularly well for a defensive end. I mean, I came out with guys like Freeney and Peppers, and they were running. Pep 290. He's running 4.5, 4.6. Freeney's 262. He ran 4.39 or something like that. He was like, they're nuts. So when they started to compare us, it's like, okay, well, Alex, you slow. I'm like, no, they just fast.
Right.
Like they're really fast, super athletic guys, man. And you get to that point where you're like, okay, all right, what teams need me? And the Bears at that time, they had made the playoffs, but if I remember the number correctly, I think they had 18 or 19 sacks from their defense on that team. So the one thing they needed was a guy that can get to the quarterback. So I thought late in that first round, I had a shot, especially after Indy took Freeney. So I knew Indy and I knew the Bears needed one. After the Bears took Colombo, it was like, okay, I don't know where I'm going now. So. And it just started to fall, man. I started to see guys go before me, and I'm like, who is this guy? And Ryan Denny out of BYU, I think it was, he went to Buffalo, and I knew Buffalo needed a defense. I'm like, man, what's going on? Like, what did I do? So I start going back, and I'm looking at what people say about me. Am I missing something? And it was a hard day, man. As far as sports, it was my worst day in my sports career. It was absolutely the worst day because back then it was first through third round. Then you had to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You had to go to sleep and sleep on that
Yeah.
for that next round, and that hurt. I didn't sleep much. My girlfriend, my wife now, she was my girlfriend then, but it was, man, it was a hard time, man. It was really tough just mentally for us. And fortunately, I didn't have to wait long after that. Came back the next day and phone rings, boom, Jerry Angelo. Mr. Angelo was like, hey, Alex, if the San Francisco 49ers don't take you, we're going to take you. It's like, perfect. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I'm not super pumped like I thought I would be,
right,
because I really think somebody's missing something. And you would think it would end right there, right? And it didn't. I needed one more jab. And San Francisco didn't take me. They took our kicker, Jeff Chandler,
From
and
Florida.
It hurt me.
No,
yes. And it hurt so bad.
That's the cherry on top of that, right?
The chip in the shoulder must have just been digging then.
Yes. It was brutal, man. I still talk to Jeff now, man. He always remind me. He went before me in the draft. So, but no, it was that's how that day went, man. It was a tough day mentally, but then I ended up in the right spot. Got a chance to play and did pretty well.
So with this year being a virtual draft, we got to see inside the homes of a lot of players.
Yep.
What would the setup have been at Alex Brown's house?
Well, that first day, you got everybody. I grew up in a small town, so everybody's there. It's not like we were throwing this huge party. It was just, hell, I was the first guy to ever get a 4-year scholarship from my high school. So if I got the opportunity to get drafted, everybody's going to be there. So, and that's what it was. Everybody was there. And just kind of sitting around waiting because, I had a pretty good college career. So they thought I'd for sure go that first day. And you, thinking about that second day, it might have been a tenth of the people. I mean, it was truly just all family there. And, man, it was tough, man. It was tough, but sitting around, eating, having a drink every now and then just kind of waiting on your name to be called. So, but I'm with those guys, man. Some of those guys are crying, and like you build and you want this all your life. I mean, as long as you can remember, that's all you ever wanted to see is your name come across that screen. And when it does, it's a special feeling.
Yeah. Now, there were tons of moments of players that were just obviously emotional, ecstatic, a lot that were on delay and you didn't know their reaction at all. But then you got the select folks that they kind of went viral, or their family members went viral. Who out of your group, because it sounded like everybody and their mama was over at the Brown family house, who was most likely to act a fool and end up going viral back then?
If I had to guess anybody, it would be my oldest brother, James. He would have done something just real dumb. Yeah. But I mean, I guess it would have been all in fun, but it was just been something that I wouldn't have done. I would have been I am a little more reserved than he is. I have 4 brothers too, so I'm sure one of them would have done something, and my mom would have went upside their head and say, "You stop acting up." So it was just one of those things. Probably one of my brothers. My uncle Anthony, I might well put him in that group too, because he might do something crazy.
Right. Now, we saw a lot of not great relationships between girlfriend and mama. It sounds like your girlfriend at the time is now your wife, yes. Right? I got some questions on some marriage longevity first, but before we get to that, I just got to know, was the dynamic good back then? Would there have been any like on camera, shade being thrown or anything like that?
You know what? I get it. I understand it. It's that moment that the mom has been waiting on forever, and the girlfriend or the fiance or however far they've gone to that point, like right. They've only been there for like a year and a half, 2 years, and mom want her time. So mama want her time, and I think the player, he has to grow up in those particular situations and just have mom understand, because truly mom is excuse me, mom is mom, but you definitely have to put your wife there. If that's your wife is first. Mom just gonna have to understand that, or she don't. I mean, I think I had to make a point at some point. It wasn't draft day, but to let my mom know, like, hey, listen, this is my wife. This is how it's gonna be, and we're gonna move on from there. So I think that's what you have to do. And if you allow stuff to go, it's gonna go, man. And we saw, I've seen people talk about how they wanted to continue being a virtual draft because they get to see those sides of the families. And I'm pretty sure they wanted to keep that stuff hidden right there.
Exactly, no doubt.
So now shifting gears here towards the local team, Chicago Bears. Mm-hmm. Overall reaction towards the draft by Ryan Pace?
I thought it was good. I actually thought it was really good. Being that we didn't have a first-round pick, I mean, you look at some teams and they had 2, 3 first-round picks, and well, hell yeah, they're going to have good drafts. They should. On paper, they should be good, but when you look at the needs that the Bears have or had, and when you address those needs, I mean, there was very little, if any, production from the tight end position. You go out and you get Jimmy Graham, who I played with Jimmy Graham down at the Saints. He's only a shell of himself, but he's better than anything we got on the roster.
Right. Now
you bring in a guy like Komet, and he can play, man. He's a homegrown kid. The weather's not going to bother him. He went to Notre Dame. He's a tough-nosed kid. He can block. He can run routes. He can catch the ball. I think he's perfect for what the Bears want. Now, would they have liked to have a more athletic guy? Well, yeah, but Kelsey's and Kittle, well, they don't grow on trees, okay? Right. So, this kid right here can be pretty good. I like that. I like how they address the cornerback position with a guy that is a first-round talent when you start to look at it. I mean, his kid's a first-round talent. Just sometimes there's only so many kids in the first round. There's only so many teams can pick in the first round. So sometimes you can find those guys that are first-round talents, but you can get them in the second round. So maybe the thought for me, if I could do it, I might have gotten that safety
Yeah.
Delpit was sitting right there, and that just kind of – I really wanted him. I thought he would solidify that defense. Now, I think as a GM, you have to try to understand like what the GM is thinking as far as how he wants to win and how he believes his team will win. And if he thinks it's going to take a team effort as opposed to just defense, then yeah, you got to give that tight end some. You got to give somebody that tight end position. Once we drafted Komet, now we got 10 tight ends on the roster. If you got 10 tight ends on the roster, that means you ain't got one.
So you said you played with Jimmy Graham. You know him personally. What kind of a mentor do you think he's going to be for Cole Kmet?
I mean, I think Jimmy. I think he's learned a lot since he's been in the NFL. Mm-hmm. I think he had a lot of guys down there that would help him, myself included, as far as just what he needed to do because I mean, think about Jimmy. Jimmy was a basketball player.
Yeah.
So coming in, Jimmy knew nothing, truly nothing about playing football. It was just throw the ball up, I'll jump up and get it, and that's what he knew about it. So he was a sponge every day just trying to learn everything. So I would have to imagine that Jimmy's going to do everything he can to help a young kid like Komet, understanding that, well, he's had his run. I mean, he's at the Bears. Now he got, $8-9 million guaranteed that he's going to get. So help the kid out, Help somebody along the way because you didn't do it by yourself, Right.
That's the truth. We're talking about the second round pick that the Bears had in Jalen Johnson. There were starting to be, and you just can't please all Bears fans. That's one thing that we know for sure. Chicago's got something to say about every single pick, and that's just how we roll, right? But Jalen Johnson, now you're starting to hear the murmurs about, was that too high of a pick for someone who's had these shoulder issues in the past? What's your take on that? Because as you said, that's a first-round talent right there. But obviously it seems like his medical history is what made him slip into the second round. Are you concerned, or do you think that might have been an overreach at all?
No, I don't think it was overreach. I don't think they reached on him. I actually thought he probably would have been gone a little bit sooner than that. He's a good player, man. He's a good player, competitive player. He's something inside him that makes him tick. Like he loves football. And if I can get myself a team of those guys that just love football, then it doesn't matter when they get paid. You don't have to worry about them. Like he's going to get paid eventually. I mean, I love Fuller. I love Fuller. I think Fuller's a heck of a player. But at one point in time, while Fuller was at the Bears, he got benched. He wasn't playing well. And then it comes time, now it's money time. It's like, oh, hold up. Now you're going to start, wait, hold on. Now you're going to start balling?
Right.
And I kept a close eye on him for the next 2 years after he got paid because I really wanted to see if he loved football. And now I've changed my opinion about him because he has played at a high level for like the past 3 years. He's been one of the top cornerbacks in the league. So I like those guys. I think this kid is in the mold of that. Like he loves football. Money isn't gonna have him play harder or play better. If you play well, you're gonna get paid. That's just how it is. But I think this kid can be a real good player, and the Bears did a really good job. The scouts, which we don't talk about a lot, and I think we should, they did a really good job there. They did a really good job with offensive linemen, getting some guys that can come in late in that draft that can help out. But when they go wrong, they also need to be talked about too.
Yes,
when
they
you
do.
pick a Kevin White and you jumping on the table talking about Kevin White, that's a problem.
Yep.
Now you jumping on the table about Leonard Floyd, that's a problem. It took me 4 minutes watching a Leonard Floyd film. It's like, this kid's not going to make it in the NFL. Not if he has to take on a block. He has to just run by people. And I learned pretty quickly with Chris Samuels. He ain't just going to run by everybody in the league. So,
in the fifth round, the Bears moved up to grab a guy who might actually have a better career rush in the passer than Leonard Floyd, that being Travis Gibson. Thoughts on him?
Gibson, he seems – so as soon as I saw the pick, I didn't know a whole lot about him, so I went back and watched some film on him, just some highlight films. I like to see what people consider his best plays, and I think you get to see his best moves in those particular instances. So he's a little stiff. He doesn't bend like some of the other guys that went a little bit higher, but he does seem like a guy that could be that. And I'm gonna say it. I'm not want to put pressure on the kid, but I think he seems like the guy that can come in for Quinn, who's already established pass rusher. Khalil Mack, already established pass rusher. He can come in like a Mark Anderson did back in 06 and be that guy.
Yeah, he's got the
third
build.
down guy. Say again?
He's got the build. That's for sure.
Yeah, he does. I mean, and he has that initial quickness. Like, there's a lot of things he's going to need to work on. But Mark came in and got 12 sacks his rookie year. It's the pressure. That's what it is. With Leonard Floyd, he was a top 10 pick. So there is no – everybody's looking for you to get 10 sacks.
Yep.
You need 10. You need 10 or we're gonna have a problem here. Mm-hmm. So he was not able to do that. I don't think this kid – there's very little, if any, expectation for him. So if he goes out this year and he gets 4 sacks, everybody's going to be like, man, he's going to be all right, you know? Right. So, I mean, it's the expectation. And I think with that expectation coming down for him or not being there for him, he's going to be all right, man. I think he'll make more plays than you think he will.
Absolutely. I mean, that just goes to the old saying, right? Expectations. Do they meet reality? Where you get drafted and the production on the field, that is a swinging pendulum of your expectations, right? So he can come onto the scene and surprise a lot of people, and then all of a sudden he's the unsung hero of the Bears, whereas if Leonard Floyd's giving you 4 sacks, everybody's got their pitchforks out and trying to figure out what's going on with you, bro. So
you know what? Absolutely. That's exactly the conversation I had with a friend of mine about Trubisky. And he was telling me that Jalen Hurts is the Trubisky of this draft. And I didn't think so. I didn't think so because I thought this kid is a real leader. Early in the he led and won in college, played a ton of games and won. So, but if he is Trubisky, taking Trubisky number 2 and taking him in the second round, hey, if Trubisky was a second round pick right now, he'd be all right. You know what I mean? We wouldn't be going crazy, about it. He's a second pick. I need you to be better than that.
Right. I think we would all feel a lot better if we drafted Trubisky this year in the second round and he was as good as he is right now after 3 seasons in the NFL and he was backing up Nick Foles. I think, hey, we got a little something going right now. We got a present. We got a little bit of a future. Then we can buy into these projects. Yep. Chad, I think you had a question coming up about a conversation that Alex and Mr. Kaplan had.
I didn't bring Mitch up, Alex. You did. So I do got to say, I witnessed an argument between you and one Mr. David Kaplan about a year ago this time before the NFL season was kicking off. And Cap was a Trubisky backer.
Loves him.
You were back in the opinion that he was just not the guy. What did you see prior to that season and in years past where you just knew that's not the dude?
So, okay, and this goes it doesn't hold much weight now. I played quarterback in high school, all right? I played QB in high school. Okay. And I learned back then that pass that he threw against the Green Bay Packers to Amos, and Amos picked it off, he stared down the receiver the entire time.
Yeah.
And he just, Amos, I'm going right here. And he threw it there, and Amos picked it off. Everybody's like, what? Are you surprised he picked it off? Like, he led him right there. Those things right there, those things kill you. You can't do it as a quarterback. And for Mitch, to me, what I saw 2 years ago was if he's told it's cover 2 and Allen Robinson's going to be open, nothing to Mitch says if Allen Robinson's on the left, I'm not going to look right because he's going to stare him down the entire time, not understanding that it's cover 2. He's still going to be open whether or not I stare him down or not. It's cover 2, son. Right. So try to look the safety off and then come back to him. It just doesn't work with him. And then you see guys running open and he misses them. Right. Easy plays. We've diluted our expectations so much of him. He'll throw a 15-yard in cut and hit the guy in the numbers with the ball, and we'll say, heck yeah, that's a simple play. He's supposed to make that. He's an NFL quarterback. Like, that's too easy. So I just didn't think he had it. I need my quarterback to believe in himself. And when Deshaun Watson, I saw this when he came out, Deshaun Watson said, well, Deshaun Watson was asked, hey, what do you say to the people that say that Mitchell Trubisky should go before you? He's like, well, they're going to have to live with that decision.
Yeah.
And, like, that's a confidence that I want in my quarterback. The guy that I'm saying is going to be the face of my franchise, I need that confidence in him. And at no point in time did I see that in Mitch during the draft. He didn't think he was supposed to be there. Hell, he was surprised when the Bears drafted him. He didn't think he was in that group of quarterbacks. He didn't. And I don't think he still does. I think when he see these guys out there playing, he thinks that he's a tier lower than them. To be honest, I think that's what he believes. So I haven't talked to him. He hasn't said that to me. But if just me saying it, like looking at him and watching him, I've never seen anything that told me that the kid just believes 100% in himself.
Right. And that's the reason why the Bears went out and traded for Nick Foles, right? You take a guy who, just go back to his nickname and you'll figure out why he has his confidence in this world. He's a Super Bowl champion. And so the Bears are going to bring him in. And I think the front office is painting a picture, and the head coaching staff is saying this is a quarterback competition. Okay, is that given that Nick Foles goes blind for the first 2 weeks of the competition? Like, I think we are knowing, Bears fans, if we're thinking forward thinking, Nick Foles has a pretty decent shot at being the starting quarterback this year. With that said, what's your expectations for the team now, seeing what the rookie class is looking like? There's still a couple of holes. Safety is going to be one of them that the Bears have that they need to address. But what are your expectations and outlook on the season now that the draft's over?
I think they make the playoffs. I'd be surprised if they didn't compete for the division, to be honest. Just looking at what everybody else did, I think Detroit kind of closed the gap with some of those draft picks they had. I thought they had a really good draft. I think they closed the gap if I'm looking at them as being the fourth team in the division. So I think they closed the gap. I'm not sure how much better the Packers got. I think the Bears got better. I don't know what the hell they were thinking about getting
man. But what do you think they were thinking? Hang on real quick. I just want your authentic thought. What are the Packers doing? We're going and drafting Aaron Rodgers, heir to the throne, while A-Rod's still on full testosterone up for the next foreseeable future with the team. Do you think a parting of ways might be on the horizon anytime soon?
I think so. I'm not sure how long his contract is, how many more years he has on that, but he has 4 more.
Yeah.
Man,
it's a nice cap hit.
Listen to me. I was talking, like, I live up by like Gurney area, Vernon Hills. So we got some Packer fans up here now. And I was talking to one of them the other day. I told him, listen, you name me one player. You can have him if you're gonna give me Aaron Rodgers.
I know that.
It's like, well, give me Khalil Mack. Done.
Wow.
Oh. Done.
Yeah,
he got. I'm sorry. Yes, Aaron Rodgers'
position is that important to the game.
If you give me Aaron Rodgers, this team, in my opinion, this team wins the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Even if I take Khalil Mack out, because this defense was a top 10 defense.
Oh yeah.
Without Khalil Mack,
and spent most of the time on the field last year.
Yes, if you can get. Just looking at Nick Foles coming in, looking at the tight end position, assuming you're going to get some production from that position this year. You got Quinn coming in where you got 0 production from Leonard Floyd at that position. Mm-hmm. Now you got a guy that could very well get you 10, 12 sacks. Obviously, Khalil Mack, he might get 15. Right. You got a healthy Akeem Hicks coming in. You got Danny Trevathan coming back. We're talking about a team that's 8-8, gave up 18 points on defense. Let's say we push that back a little bit. Now they're giving up 15 points.
Right.
For the offense with a more efficient quarterback, some production at the tight end position, might even run the ball a little bit more this year. Mm-hmm. Now, let's say we push that 18 points a game they got on offense to 21-22. Hell, it sounds like you're winning more to me. So I got them 11, and right now, 11-5 doesn't seem crazy to me. It doesn't.
No. Well, Alex, we appreciate the time, man. How's the family doing?
Family's good, man. Family's good. My wife and I are going absolutely nuts. I think I'm going to start a petition as soon as this virus is over for teachers. We need to pay teachers more. This is incredible. My 4 kids home all day long is insane.
And then Tony hanging in there without the baseball season. He's still working out though, right?
He is. I mean, we're actually we're leaving right after this. We're going to our gym, All Pro Sports over at in Lake Bluff. We're going over there to get a workout in. So you got to keep working out. So Furman is right around the corner, man. He's super excited for it. So we're excited.
Cool, man.
Absolutely. Well, Alex, thank you so much for hopping on, man. I know for me, Chad just has famous friends. I'm new to all of this. And when I tell you, I was a fan of yours growing up. I played DN in high school, and you watching the Bears. Who I'm watching? I'm watching Alex Brown do his thing at DN, man. So it's a pleasure having you on the show, brother.
Absolutely. And that right there, that just makes me feel old as hell. But no problem. We're good. We're good, you know?
It's all good.
All right, man.
All good, man.
So much,
Thank you.
Man.